Welcome to Basically Sci-Fi, the short story podcast with stories you can basically call sci-fi. I'm Adam.
I'm Jared.
And I'm Todd.
And this week, it's my turn. And hello. It's been a long time. It's been a long cosine since we've talked.
I never thought it would happen to me.
We were just, dear listeners, we were just spitballing the wonderful idea of making a secondary podcast. Please write in Discord what kind of genre you guess it could be. You don't get to vote.
Oh, you don't want to tell them what kind you thought of?
I thought of making a podcast called Basically Erotic. Do I need to say more?
I'm going to say I'm not going to be on that podcast, but yeah.
I'm going to need at least a face reveal before I know I can get into a Basically Erotic podcast.
I know I'm going to need Gilbert Godfrey as like a fourth co-host. I definitely need that before we can ever get to that level.
Welcome to Basically Erotic.
See, somehow the gap between what he's saying and then his voice makes it even better.
I gotta work on that.
Do
But
you?
anyway,
Was it good?
I don't know, do it again.
No. Jared just embarrassed me. I tried. And that's what you get for trying, kids.
No, I mean, I'm not ridiculing your impression of him. I'm just wondering if anybody needs to do an impression of him.
Of him doing an erotic podcast.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't that already exist? Isn't he already on one? I know he did a reading of 50 Shades, didn't he?
Oh, God.
I have no idea. I don't follow the career of Gilbert Gottfried.
I mean, with the voice like that, you should. He's got like one character he plays. He's
Iago, yeah.
What do you
that
call
was
that?
all he ever did that was worthwhile.
Typecast?
Wow.
I guess he got typecast.
As a bird? What?
I mean, he was Gilbert Godfrey
Or
before
as having
he
an
was
obnoxious
Iago.
voice.
I think he got typecast into Iago, too.
Yeah, I think he got kind of stuck with the Iago thing. I mean, look, I'm too young to have enjoyed Gilbert Godfrey as a stand-up comedian. I assume that's what he was.
I have no idea. I've never seen anything he's ever done outside of Aladdin.
I have only seen him, as a talk show guest, pretty much. Except for Iago.
I mean, I'm sure he's still getting residuals from that.
Oh. Now I gotta try to do it. Differentiate between my Gilbert Godfrey voice and my Murderface voice.
They are quite
Iago
different.
wants residuals.
Why can't everything be easy? Anyway, I had a science thought for you guys today. You ready? I'm gonna hit you with it. Like a big old bag of oranges, I'm gonna hit you with it. So I've been reading recently. So there's something called heavy water, right? You know what heavy water is, right?
No.
I take your silence as no. So, heavy water, that's, so hydrogen sometimes pairs up with other hydrogen. So floating in the air, you got oxygen, right? The oxygen we breathe, that's like O2. That's what that shit is. That means there's two oxygen molecules stuck together. Anyway, though, hydrogen can do that as well. Usually, single hydrogen combines with oxygen to... no. So, heavy water is when the weird double hydrogen combines doubly with oxygen to make it into, like, a super heavy water. And I don't know why you can't drink it. All the... I mean, I might have jumped the gun there, but all the articles that I've been reading about it are like, don't drink it. It's not good. Don't drink it. And like they say, it tastes real sweet, but don't drink it. And I'm thinking here, like, why not? Why can't I drink this?
right? Like
Yeah.
an attic full of asbestos.
Like, if we found something that's
Why
basically
shouldn't I
water,
drink
but it's
this random
sweet,
chemical?
Yeah.
like it's sweet, but it's water. Like, why wouldn't you just add that to everything? Like, come on.
Presumably, it's not good for you if they're telling you not to drink it.
Oh yeah, no, they're like
That would be why.
Extended ingestion in mice will kill them. But it got me thinking though, what's the threshold for killing people? I mean, like, can we put this in Coca-Cola and nobody will notice? Like,
I really want to. I feel like I now know why you got into heavy water. I want to include this. Like, I wish I could include a link to the Wikipedia here. And the heavy water molecule just looks like a big old booty in a bodysuit.
now hold up. I didn't Google it, but now I have to find an image.
Yeah, go to the Wikipedia. Go to the Wikipedia and look at the molecule for heavy water. It's just a booty.
Dear listeners, we'll put the picture in the Discord. It does look like just a big old booty in like something.
In a Baywatch swimsuit.
Are you telling me that I drink booties all day? Drinking water? I'm gonna start calling water booty juice. But that was my one science thought this week. I was been thinking about that a lot recently. Not the
Yeah.
booty juice thing, but the I was like, why can't you drink heavy water? Because no one will tell me. Damn it. I mean, not me directly. No one will tell the internet.
Oh. Okay.
Then
I
I
don't know.
refuse to look at the Wikipedia page to find out for myself. So there's also that.
This explains it pretty much immediately.
Oh, what?
The Wikipedia.
Now I'm going to close out
Yeah.
that tab. I'm not going to look at the Wikipedia. I like my science to be a little bit mysterious.
Yeah.
I like my science.
I prefer not to know my science, just be told secondhand.
I prefer my science to be magic. Okay. Why
Science
can't?
fiction is a lot easier than
Oh,
science.
that's why I know what it is. It's I had heard of it, but not since like high school. It was one of the chemicals used in like initial tests with radiation and like trying to develop the nuclear bombs.
Yeah.
Oh,
They thought it was like a key to making nuclear weapons.
Even just
Or
a Google
the Germans
search.
did or something. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't thought about this since high school. But looking at the Wikipedia article has reminded me some of it. But yeah, no, don't drink it.
apparently it tastes
you
sweet
wouldn't-
though.
Come across it anyways. Just because it tastes good doesn't mean you should drink it.
Google also says people also ask, is it safe to drink heavy water? But I think by people, they just mean Adam repeatedly.
Yeah, I'm the one who's driving that search tag up.
Google says it isn't radioactive, but
Then
it's
it's
not
fine.
entirely safe to drink. And yeah,
It was.
not a good enough reason for me.
Yeah.
Adam says it's sweet, so
I mean, I've never drank it, but I've
And-
allegedly it's sweet.
and it's booty juice, so trying to get some of that sweet booty juice.
I'm gonna pitch that idea to Coca-Cola to replace their sugar with heavy water. Although I'm not sure if that's cost effective. Anyway, I'm gonna put that in one of my stories eventually.
Okay.
People getting sick. What's happening? Oh, it's heavy water in the water. There's water in the water.
And they and they've been using Gatorade to water their crops.
Idiocracy.
Yep.
Anyway, so that was my one science thing this week. I mean, I have another science thing, but I think it'll kind of run on too long.
Go for it. We'll do it in next time's
Yeah, next time.
Science with Adam.
Science with Adam. Hoo-yah. You learned vaguely what deuterium might be.
We ask the questions, you Google search the answers.
Yeah. Or we do it on the fly, you know. Certainly, whoever's asking won't know, but
I prefer a simpler time when we didn't know the answers and we just discussed what they might be before Google.
There is something to that. There is definitely something to that.
I always hear that as like a fucking thing. Like, goddamn, boomers are always like, I prefer a simpler time when we all talked about something over the dinner table instead of knowing
when
the
we all
exact
didn't
answer.
know what the fuck was going on, we just opined about it anyways.
Yeah. I'm like, wouldn't you just love to? I mean, I'm gonna criticize myself here, but I mean, wouldn't you just love? Not criticize. Hippocratize. Anyway, wouldn't you just love to Google a fucking answer and like just have that immediately? You're like, who was the 23rd president? I don't know. We're gonna talk about it for 20 minutes, or just Google it for a second. You Google it.
Well, I mean, if you could, do something with that, then potentially you could be like, well, I know that the 22nd president was, and no, don't ask me, I don't know any of them, but you could logic your way there, and ideally that would be better than just being able to magically get answers, right?
I don't know if you could logic your way into knowing the name of a dude you don't know. Especially since they're not directly related to...
I mean, this family that's having a dinner table conversation about the presidents in order, they might be able to come up with an answer eventually.
They're a bunch of weirdos. Who does that?
They are. You know what? Fuck dinner with your family. Fuck talking. Just use Google and Uber Eats.
It was William Henry Harrison.
Okay. Adam, your story.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
All right, that was our bit this week. Thank you for coming. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Here is Buck. This week in Buck's Beautiful Boy Adventure, the BBB.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's what we're after.
The ground shook, and Buck and all the Froggos legged it up the hill as fast as they could. The ship was still there, in ruins as it was, but it still gave Buck a sense of comfort. The one familiar, albeit useless, thing on this damn planet. There were huge tears in its scorched hull. It looked like the bridge had detached in the freefall, but Buck wouldn't lose any sleep over that. The rest of the crew were assholes for not at least signing off on his service form hours.
Right?
Yeah. Gentlemen, he said, holding up his laser gun. I want you to look everywhere in this ship and find anything that looks like this. It was a typical Silurian build, revolving style that required a whole power cell for each shot.
Ooh.
A crude heart with Mom written in it could be seen scratched into the handle. He held it up over his head and pointed to the trigger. He held it up over his head and pointed to the trigger. And this is how you use it. And he pulled the trigger, and there was a loud ping and a bzit, and it sent a bolt of blue light streaming off into the sky. The laser gun cylinder turned over and ejected the power cell. He held this out before the Froggos. Don't lose these. They charge in the sunlight, and also now I have 5 more shots. They all looked at him with quizzical expressions. What?
You have to count.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, he's going to count. He did count on his fingers.
So economical and yet complicated.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you introduce technology in science fiction, it's got to get explained down to every detail. Yeah. That's why the listeners come to listen to my story. They like.
I was gonna say I better go back and edit every single one of my stories then.
All right, here we go. Where did I leave off? They all looked at him with quizzical expressions. The one who spoke a little common just nodded. Buck knew they wouldn't find any in that ship, not after how the mutinous crew had scoured it for any spare weapons. But it was better than having them all die immediately, crushed to death. Buck wouldn't let them go out like that, not if he could help it. The ground shook again, and a huge hand crested the cliff's edge. "All right, boys, get to it!" he shouted, and that one froggo croaked, and they all scrambled into the remains of the albatross. Buck suddenly half remembered a story about an albatross. Remembered something about that one going badly for the captain. Bad luck? Oh well. He pointed at the ship. "Your name's Duck now. As far as I'm concerned, it's always been Duck. You're a duck." And then he took off running towards the gargantuan figure rising from the cavern.
He got that from his mom, just naming stuff afterwards.
Yeah.
After the fact.
After the fact, yep.
All the references are there.
Yeah, that's what we call character development.
Yeah.
For all my characters out there. He put his runic dagger between his teeth, broke into a sprint, and dropped to his knees, sliding down the muddy hillside, and fired a shot at the mother as her massive face rose. As her massive face rose over the lip of the cliff. There was a ping, and the laser blast tore through the air and smacked her right in the middle of her forehead. Choice, Buck thought to himself as he caught the ejecting power cell.
Does he say that now?
No, he said that in his brain.
Okay.
To himself. You don't just think choice when you do something sweet.
He's so quirky.
Mother recoiled from the shot as it charred the flesh between her eyes. She winced in pain but quickly recovered. Buck rolled to a stop right behind a medium-sized-ish boulder, about chest height. Mother raised herself up to tower over Buck, coming head, shoulders, and tits out of the cavern. She brought one of her forearms down to slam Buck into the dirt, but as big as she was, her wind-up took several seconds. So Buck had time to line up a shot, there was a ping, and it crashed into her palm. The searing pain was enough to fudge up her aim, the hand coming down a few meters to Buck's left. He couldn't see...
We did Dark Souls last time.
Yeah.
What is this? What game is this a reference to?
This is a reference to, you'll see.
Okay.
I already referenced it.
Okay.
He could see she was clearly in pain, but he noticed the charred spot in her forehead had already healed, returning to a pristine, marble-like skin. He stood up and lined up another shot. And he spat the dagger out into his other hand. Oh, never mind. Buck had wasted too much time as another hand was nearly upon him. He just barely jumped out of the way. He weaved and rolled around to dodge her prodigious hands. Earlier, all Buck needed to do was count to 4 and roll. But this time, the hands came down one after another. It was all he could do to keep out from under them.
He's entered the second phase.
Yeah. Isn't that called a boss rush?
What?
What? Anyway.
A boss what?
A boss rush.
Oh,
Dun, dun,
okay.
dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Loud explosion interrupted everything. Surprising the mother, disrupting her attacks, a flash of light came from the cavern, followed by something that pierced the black fog. It rocketed up into the sky and over the mother's head and arced to crash land somewhere behind the duck. Buck carped this diem and took a shot at the mother. Laser pinged and the mother preemptively winced, trying to move out of the way. The light blast, a little off course, hit her in the shoulder, vaporizing her satin raiment and scorching her skin. The damage reversed within seconds. Buck didn't even wait to watch, though. He was running back up the hill. The mother's fists rained down in an attempt to hem him in and keep him from getting out of reach. But Buck was a slippery boy, and he managed to get just out of reach. "Some goddess you are. More like a stinky loser," Buck said, holding his hand up to his forehead in the shape of an L. Her fist came down, but Buck was many meters out of reach. He farted audibly at her and fired another shot. A ping pang rang out, and the mother yet again winced and tried to lean out of the way. This one caught her at the end of her nose. "How's that smell, huh?" he shouted. The mother looked furious. She put her hands together into the shape of a square. A void opened up between her fingers, and a black bolt of energy rocketed forth. It collided with the frontish part of the duck, and it exploded. Buck looked aghast. He was the captain of the duck, after all. "Nobody shoots my duck but me," he roared, and raised his laser gun again. Before he could shoot, a whole lot of yelling broke his concentration. From behind him came a cacophony of pings and several blue bolts of light flying towards the mother. They collided into her all over. The mother fell backwards into the cavern wall on the opposite side. Buck turned to see his froggy boys rushing out of the duck towards him, sliding down the muddy hillside on their knees. A tear came to his eye. Never in his life was Buck so happy to see some frogs. A shape could be seen, backlit by the sun and lightning flashes, on top of the duck. It held a spear over its head, screaming some kind of guttural war cry. It leapt off the duck and slid down the hillside, and Buck ran up to meet it. "Arlo!" he screamed. Covered in mud and a black sooty substance, Arlo dropped his spear and embraced Buck. The two shared a moment. "It looks like we won't be needing to go to the star tropics after all," Arlo said. And he smiled at Buck. As the rest of the froggy boys assembled around them. They were wearing an odd assortment of spacer armor. Some had pauldrons, some had greaves, codpieces even. Thank God for the codpieces. And some chest pieces. But all carried at least some kind of energy weapon. Plasma rifles, laser pistols. One even had a heat sword. Where the fuck did you get that? Shit, he thought to himself. A tremor shook every fabric of reality. Ooh. And Buck withdrew and readied his laser rifle. Gun. Not rifle, gun. Laser gun. It's small.
Okay.
Arlo
It's
grabbed
a revolver.
It's a revolver, yes.
Yeah.
Yippee-ki-yay. Arlo grabbed his stone spear, and the frogs formed a line. Across the cavern, the mother had disappeared into the mass of whirling black fog. He shot up into the sky and landed only a dozen meters from the group. The black fog coalesced into a human-sized mother, but with 4 arms, and she was frothing at the mouth. Behind her, Buck could see an odd tear in space-time. Strange. It shouldn't be there. Some guy wearing weird, rippling black plate mail that seemed to shift every moment stepped out of the fissure. He bore a long, black spear made out of something. He made some gesture. Buck didn't quite make it out. Buck never liked wearing his prescription glasses, and he'd heard that squinting actually strengthened your eyes anyway and made them better. But then the dude leapt into the fissure. Well, fuck, Buck thought. I hope he can fly. Back to that task at hand, though. Buck returned his focus to the mother.
He let that go easily.
Yeah, he did. Look, you only got to think about the problem at hand.
I mean, yeah, that's a good idea.
The frog squad took aim and fired. Oh, I skipped a thing. Back to the task at hand. Buck returned his focus to the mother. "Frog squad, light her up!" And the frog squad took aim and fired. And the mother, hearing the pings, leapt forward, twisting in midair to dodge the bolts of blue light. Buck shot and missed just as poorly as the frogs. Damn! If only she wasn't so fuzzy. Gotta get closer. Buck broke into or squint real hard. It was so much easier when she was bigger, he thought to himself. Buck broke into a run, laser in one hand, dagger in the other. The mother landed just feet from Buck and lunged at him. "Feeling lucky?" he shouted. He raised his laser and the ping broke the air. The mother instinctively recoiled, and Buck slammed his dagger into her chest. The mother let out a hideous scream, and black smoke poured out of her eyes and mouth, plunging into the dagger. Ooh. The rune lit up as it absorbed the torrent. The mother, drained of power, winked out of existence right before Buck. The dagger, now black with a glowing white rune, dropped to the ground. The ground shook, and the distance in the distance, the cavern shriveled and closed up. Something in space-time went pop. All the Froggos dropped to their knees, exhausted. Arlo looked up into the rain. Buck held out his hand, collecting rainwater in his palms. He slapped himself with the rainwater, brushed his sweaty, greasy hair back into a kind of pompadour, picked up that dagger and put it away. A tear in space-time opened in front of Buck, and the dude from before stepped out. He was indeed entirely covered in some kind of weird shimmering material. Strange. Looked like plate mail. His pinkish skin could be seen underneath of the eye slit in his helmet, but Buck could see the runes all over his armor, and they looked familiar. Similar to the rune on his dagger, maybe? The rune on his spear resembled that of Buck's dagger for sure, but Buck said nothing. The man simply pointed at Buck. "Find the arches. Break them. The planes are in grave danger," he said, stepping back into the tear, and it closed, leaving Buck all alone and in the rain. Planes? He looked up. He didn't see any planes. Well, whatever.
Dumb.
Sorry.
No. I don't know who I'm saying is dumb. I'm just like, maybe me for thinking that's funny.
Well, whatever it wasn't his problem now. Gotta get off this planet first. That's problem numero uno for sure. A roar could be heard. This one was familiar. It was the roar of spacecraft turning on his landing thrusters. The craft came down on a hill a good half-kilometer away from the duck. Froggos were inconsolably tired, save for Arlo, who Buck took up the hill with him. He stood waiting for the landing party. There's no Y on that. I'm going to fix that right there. Okay. He stood waiting for the landing party. "Should we walk and meet them halfway?" Arlo said. "No, it's more dramatic if they come to us," he said, trying to look like a captain. Arlo looked back and forth between Buck and the approaching figures disembarking. He straightened his posture. "Well, I'll do my best to think of something to say, then." Tune in next week to find out what Arlo learns to say.
Okay.
The end.
All right. I will tune in next time to find out what he's going to say in his Froggo language to the people who I assume don't speak Froggo language.
Oh, Arlo and the really old guy and one of the guards can all speak varying levels of what's called common. In the Galactic Society, they all. It's like English.
Did you explain why one random Froggo would be able to speak common?
Yeah, so they used to be called Corbins. This is Lore Hour with Adam and ASMR Lore.
I forgot.
Here we go. So the Corbin formerly known as Jodeci or Jodeci or however you pronounce his name, he hundreds of years old. Was one of the few ambassadors from this planet to other systems. Of course, over time, they kind of civil warred themselves into the Stone Age, and then were easily influenced by a eldritch being from another plane of existence. And so most of the Corbins from his time are dead, and he is preserved somehow. I'm not going to tell you guys yet.
He's pickled.
He's pickled himself in liquor. He's a drunk. No. He is one of the few that can speak the international language of Common, but the other Corbins think of it as kind of like a religious language or something. So a few of them have learned it from him.
Is this stuff that you I mean, you can edit me asking this dumb shit out if you want, but is this stuff that you said in a story?
It's stuff I implied in the story.
Oh,
It's been so long.
okay. Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, yes, to answer the question, why do some of the Froggos speak the international language of, the intergalactic language of Common? Because Jodeci taught them.
Okay. Yeah. It's like why some people in America insist on writing in all caps without any spaces between the words, because they think that's how the Bible was written.
That is how the Bible was written.
in English.
That's how my Bible was
Yeah.
written. You can't tell me no otherwise.
It's religious language.
No two ways about it. Caps are the language of God. Anyway,
I feel like that story. So I don't know. I feel bad here. I'm not sure what to say. On the one hand, I was like,
Don't feel bad.
This story feels like Adam really kind of finally like I don't know, like honing his voice into what he wants this story to be like and sound like, right? I liked a lot of it. I liked the gags and the goofs, and Buck had a lot of character. But then on the other hand, I'm like, or is it just because it's like, I don't know, got more fart jokes and that's why I like it?
it was only one fart joke, thank you.
I know. I don't
That
know.
is still more than usual.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I usually don't stoop to potty humor.
But no, this one had a different tone to it, so I don't know. I liked it. I don't want to necessarily say that it was better, but I do want to say that I enjoyed the tone of this one.
Yeah.
Well, since I never really studied writing, and I'm a bad writer, so every time I write, I get a little bit better, is the way I like to think about it, hopefully.
Okay, yeah. I mean, sure.
Yeah.
I've also, I've tried to read other people's books, work. I like to read books because I'm a nerd, and also because, you can learn how to do something kind of by seeing how other people do it. If you, look at, how the fuck does he, he just says he said a lot. Wow, I thought that'd be really
Right,
annoying, but it
right.
turns out the word said just kind of disappears after a while. Oh, okay, that's interesting. That kind of stuff you can
I
kind of
mean,
get a little bit.
I don't know. Since we don't have a page to look at, it is often
Yeah.
kind of more important to have markers like that to remind
Yeah.
us who's talking.
Yes.
Unless you're really good at doing the voices.
You gotta get better at doing the voices.
In which case, no, Buck and Arlo are great. I love your Arlo voice. Whenever I hear it, I don't think of it as being your voice anymore. I think of it as being Arlo.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for your criticism. I hope I can get better.
Okay. No, I mean, we all hope we could get better. I was saying it was good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I don't think that was a criticism, but
You can have constructive criticism.
Yeah.
That's where you don't say anything
yeah.
bad, right?
Sure. The criticism was that I thought it was getting more elevated. So yeah.
Next time I'll add 2 fart jokes.
There was more
Maybe.
of a voice. I don't know.
Or maybe a gimp joke. We'll see.
The planes joke was funny. I liked that.
yeah, that was solid.
That was.
Because the one guy is so dramatic, and then not Arlo, Buck is like, huh? I don't know, that's a very Family Guy thing to do.
I wasn't sure he could communicate. I thought
Yeah.
he was so Dark Souls he could only emote.
I don't know.
Okay. I mean, he's literally not Dark Souls, though, right? He's
No,
not,
he's literally-
not just a Dark Souls.
Yeah.
He's not Dark
Okay.
Souls, no.
Okay.
He's actually from a different IPO.
Okay.
Or IP, not IPO, IP. This is not stonks.
Intellectual property, oi.
It's an intellectual property, oy vey. Get
Oh.
out of here. No. He's I don't remember the series he's from, but it's not Dark Souls. It's another one.
Oh.
It will forever go unnamed. Anyway. Did you get the game I was referencing? I need to ask that. What? Sliding down a muddy hill on your knees?
So if it wasn't Dark Souls, then no.
The last game I played where you had to, a giant enemy's, swinging at you and you have to, shoot their hand out of the air or whatever. It just reminded me of, last bosses in Devil May Cry. But I don't think either one of you have played Devil May Cry.
Nope.
No.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of.
I was
know
definitely
there are WoW bosses where you have to kill their arms, but...
Yeah.
referencing, what is it? Apex Legends, sliding down a hill on your muddy knees? Come on.
Oh.
Come on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking about the, I thought that, because she swings her arm, but it takes several seconds of, telegraphing her attack before her arm moves, so you shoot the hand out of the air.
Yeah.
That's what I thought that the reference was. The sliding down the hill. Sure, I get how that's Apex, but...
I wear my influences on my sleeve.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I would like to thank our viewers for tuning in and listening to our weekly update of Buck's adventure. Now, don't forget to join the Discord. It will be in the video description. And what's the thing everyone does? What's that one thing? Like and comment and subscribe. Don't forget to do that. And watch the video all the way through to the end. Although I'm telling you this now, and you probably have already done that. So in that case, thank you. And YouTube
Or turn it off right now, just out of spite.
Spite.
Whatever you want.
YouTube Premium sponsor us. I need the money. It's tax season. Or it was tax season. Anyway, thank you for listening, and tune in next week when...
I'll be doing a story about something that I don't remember.
Woo!
Well, we'll find out together.
It'll be a surprise. Until then, though, see ya.
Later.
Bye.